Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Spring Fever. As always, it's me, XFL Jim. Yes, I'm staying with XFL Jim. It's me, XFL for the love of fucking football.
Jesus, dude. I wasn't expecting that, dude.
No, you never expect it. And as always, we're joined. It's been a while, but we're joined by the one. He needs no introduction. It's the man, the myth, the legend. It is Uncle fucking Rico! Let's go! UFL, baby! 2024!
That music sounded familiar. What song was that, man?
Sabotage, Beastie Boys, baby.
Oh, I should fucking know that, dude. I should fucking. You're not gonna get any copyright strikes doing that, dude?
I think if I do it just enough, we're fine.
What's just enough, like 30 seconds?
So I did a song for Chase on the gymnasium. Let me see if we got copyright struck for that one. And basically all that means, at least from what I've seen for a good chunk of it, is you just can't put ads on the video. But guess what, Eric? Our channels right now are not big enough for ads. It's fine. We're here for the energy. But we do have one ad for the people, and that's go to Royal Retros. Go over to Royal Retros. Get yourself some good merch. Some good, now that, guess what? The Stars, they're again defunct. Go get some Philly Stars merch. Go get some New Orleans Breakers. Go get some Maulers merch. Both the terrible purple and orange and the awesome yellow and black. It's all there at Royal Retros. And when you go to Royal Retros, use our promo code SPRINGFEVER, all one word, all caps, for 10% off at checkout.
There's some nice general stuff, not generals, some gambler stuff I'm looking at.
No copyright strike on the one yesterday, Eric. So we're looking pretty good.
Or if you really want to go old school, you get a nice little Oakland Invaders hat.
I wonder if they're doing any specials now that like Christmas and the holidays and everything are done.
I mean, all this USFL stuff is marked down greatly. Like the Showboats, stuff marked down $40. Hats half off. I mean, stuff could be flying off the shelves here at Royal Retros.
They got it all. So make sure you go there. Eric, this is a very important time and a very important space to be alive right now in the world of spring football. The UFL is here. It is coming. And we have some news for the people. So we didn't record last week. I don't remember if we recorded the week before that either. It's been like a little holiday break for Spring Fever.
Little holiday break, my friend, and I apologize for that. I'm gonna say
it's my fault too.
My sister's got 4 kids, all under the age of 10. And when you get Uncle Rico watching kids, shit happens, dude. So
shout out Lemon V Cuts for getting his Dragons merch before the merger. Snag it while you can. I remember back in 2020 when the XFL went under the first time, or the second time, I should say, when they were partnered with Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yep.
And when they went under, I think they were doing like 80% off on almost all merch. It was 80% off. I spent $300.
You went to town. Is there a place also, right now where you get some discount stuff?
2020 felt like 30 years ago. That is 100% true, my man. Royal Retros. That's where you go. You get your 10% off and use our promo code every time.
Yeah.
So, Eric, to catch everyone up, at least to catch up our audience and people that don't know, the XFL and USFL merged into the UFL. We have the 8 teams that have survived into 2 conferences. So they at least did the thing that we asked them to do, and they kept the XFL and USFL alive as conferences.
Yep.
So we have the XFL conference, the Arlington Renegades, head coach Bob Stoops, the St. Louis Battlehawks, head coach Anthony Becht, who's kind of been making like the most noise out of almost any head coach in this entire league in my mind, the San Antonio Brahmas, who I believe Eric has dubbed his new team, head coach Wade Phillips, and the DC Defenders, head coach Reggie Barlow. That's your XFL conference. In the USFL conference, you have the Birmingham Stallions with Skip Holtz as the head coach still.
Back.
The Memphis Showboats with John DeFilippo as the head coach. He moved from the Breakers. He was the head coach of the Breakers last year. Yep. He's now on the Showboats. Thank God they got rid of Todd Haley. Thank God. You have the Michigan Panthers, head coach Mike Nolan. Eric, you might have a team for each conference.
Yeah. I'm gonna put a little San Antonio against the Panthers future
and then last but not least, in the USFL conference, you have the Houston Roughnecks, head coach Curtis Johnson. So they basically, what they did for the Roughnecks is they took the Gamblers and just slapped the Roughnecks logo on them.
How do you feel about that?
I like the brand of the Roughnecks better. Obviously, if they would have kept the Roughnecks, I would have probably preferred that because, then you would have had Wade there.
Yeah, in H-Town.
At least he's still coaching. I'm fine with the move. The Gamblers were at least better last year. They were an interesting team. I wonder what happens to some of the other coaches. We don't really have a lot of staff information. I think the only team that has a full staff listed right now is the Stallions. We're not going to talk about it and break that down today, but I think pieces are moving. Pieces are moving into this puzzle. So, Eric, before we get to the rosters, just based on coaching, who do you like here? Obviously the Brahmas, but who do you like just as a team?
You got to give credit to Holtz. Back-to-back
He's
titles.
been like the number one guy in spring football for the last 2 years.
Back-to-back titles. Obviously, we don't know. He was at Northwestern helping that whole coaching crew. How much did he hand into them? Vastly overachieving. So you got to give the Stallions a leg up. Obviously, Nolan's been around. He's been in the spring football game for a little bit. I think those two are the top two in the USFL division. XFL division, obviously, Wade Phillips biased. I think he's one of the best defensive coach that is in the eight-team league. And, how can you not like Stoops?
I feel like Stoops is really now just doing this solely for the love of doing it. Like, he's just having fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I feel like out of almost any of these people, if he didn't want to be there, he wouldn't be there.
Exactly. If there's one person that doesn't have to be there, it's Bobby.
Exactly.
And he's just there. Because we all know he's not going to go back to coaching. He's not going to coach in the NFL. This is just him there for the love of the game.
Yeah, this is him. This is like the perfect spot for Bob Stoops. So Lemon V Cuts in chat over on YouTube says, USFL coaches seem to have the better coaching experience overall. I like Dave Filippo.
Yeah.
I like what Anthony Beck did last year. It'll be interesting to see how a team like the Battlehawks does when they don't have a veteran like AJ McCarron back there. And see how they kind of replace that.
Do we know who QB1 is going to be?
Let's see. Battlehawks QB. They have Kenji Bahar still. They got Jarrett Garantano, dude, from Washington State.
Okay.
And those are the two quarterbacks they have on roster. Obviously, there's still another draft. There is free agency to go on. That actually leads us right in to the roster talk, Eric. Let's go through. I'm going to go through this as the UFL website has it. Today, we're just going to go over players that were on previous teams that got picked up by new teams in the dispersal draft. I don't know about you, Eric. Personally, I'm fine that they didn't broadcast this draft.
Yeah. Makes zero sense to it in my eyes.
Shout out Herb Phillips. What's good? He's also a Brahma man. He's been a Brahma man from the start. You now have Uncle Rico on your side, Herb.
I am Team Brahma now, my friend.
So starting off, Arlington Renegades, they picked up Vic Beasley from the Vipers. People remember him a little bit from his Clemson days.
Cup of coffee in the league.
Yeah, a little bit in the league. They got Deontay Burnett from Houston. He was actually pretty good at Houston for a little bit. Yeah. Houston, down the stretch, did have some quarterback issues, but at the start, they were firing. You got Devin Darrington from the Guardians of Orlando, Adrian Ely from Seattle, and Morgan Ellison from Seattle. Also Seth Green from Houston, Ajeen Harris from Houston, Marcus Minor from Houston, Christian Morgan from Houston, Chris Owens from the Sea Dragons. I think that's a nice pickup. Roderick Perry from the Roughnecks, Lindsey Scott from the Roughnecks, and LaRon Stokes from the Vipers. How do we feel like the Renegades kind of pulled out? I think it's fine.
Decent. I like, obviously Vic Beasley. You want to get him back in, but
I
it's
I
just
think
tough to say. Like, we just don't know how everything's going to mesh together.
I think a big thing for the Renegades in particular, and this is just me like scrolling through their roster pretty quickly. I haven't done like a full deep dive. It's not who they added as much as who they kept.
Yeah.
Like obviously they kept a lot of that defense intact, and keeping Luis Perez, my man.
Yeah.
They got the man. Shout out Michael, my man. This guy is one of my favorite guys on Twitter. He's one of the XFL, USFL homies. QB1 makes or breaks a team. It'll be interesting to see who the Battlehawks pick up. Yes, it will. Up next, Eric, we have the Birmingham Stallions. They added Calvin Ashley.
Did Payne return to the Renegades?
I believe he did. Let me take a look. Yeah, Donald Payne is on the Renegades.
And so that's pretty good. I mean, they got Payne, got Perez. That's actually a pretty solid roster, dude.
And I still believe they have the best kicker-punter combo. They still have Marquette King, and they have Taylor Russolino. Especially with Aubrey being out of the league.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Stallions. They got Calvin Ashley from the Generals, Marcus Baugh from the Breakers, Chris Blewett. They replace Brandon Aubrey with Chris Blewett, who was also a fantastic kicker from the Maulers. He was a great kicker, too. They got Cam Carter from the Generals, Daniel Isom from the Stars, Hercules Mataafa from the Generals. I like that pickup a lot. They got Chris Orr from the Generals, and they got Henri St. Amour from the Breakers. They got Channing Stribling from the Stars. They got Eli Walker also from the Maulers, and they got Jameis Wiggins from the Breakers. I think the Stallions really did well here.
When I was looking at these, I think on paper, that's the key word. Those are the key words. They have the best roster.
I would 100% agree with you. I think Jamar Smith is probably one of like the top 3 quarterbacks in this league easily.
Yeah.
At top of the rest of their roster. They kept a lot of guys, and the guys they added are big makers. Michael in the chat, surprised XFL teams didn't snag Dormady. He looked good towards the end of last season. He did. He did look good. I wonder if I bet a couple of those guys might be waiting till free agency. So I want to see how that kind of works out. Also, Eric, little QB competition in Birmingham. You think Adrian Martinez can get a shot?
No, I don't think. I don't mean to be
I think guys like him could be successful in this league with the double pass stuff.
Yeah.
For like gimmicky plays. Put him on the edge or something.
He's no dice in this league, my friend. No dice.
Yeah, Lemon said, isn't Jamar Smith competing with other? Yeah, right now it's Adrian Martinez. So I favor Jamar there.
I favor Jamar there too, my friend.
Up next, the DC Defenders. They got Deontay Anderson from the Vipers. They got Elijah Blades from the Roughnecks. Jean Delance from the Roughnecks. Jordan Evans from the Sea Dragons. They got DeAndre Francois from the Guardians. He's still kicking around. They got Trent Harris from the Roughnecks. Donovan Jeter from the Roughnecks. George Moore from the Sea Dragons. Adam Sparks from the Vipers. And Tisdale from the Sea Dragons, and Tim Ward from the Roughnecks. I kind of like this pickup. It'll be interesting to see what they do at QB.
Yeah, whose name didn't you say?
I said DeAndre Francois.
Yeah, they don't have last year's quarterback.
No, they don't have. I believe they don't have either of them. Because they had your boy from Houston.
Yeah,
Erik King.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Where did Erik King go?
He's on nowhere now. I read something that he's going to go to. He may go back to the Defenders of the backup role, but he's not on a roster right now.
He might be a name to watch out for in free agency.
I mean, the bigger thing is where'd Jordan go?
Oh yeah. Is he like on a practice squad somewhere? Yeah, he's on the Vikings.
Oh, he's on the Vikings practice squad?
Yeah, he's on the Vikings. He was waived August 28th. On September 9th, 2003, he was revealed to be claimed by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So the Roughriders hold exclusive rights. So he's with the Roughriders.
We could see him in the CFL next year.
True. I don't know if I'd put him as one of the top quarterbacks in the CFL. Speaking of which, though, Taylor Cornelius, my boy, the corn dog, he got dropped by the Elks. So it'll be interesting to see what he does this year.
I
love Taylor Cornelius.
Who was the quarterback? I'm spacing his name. I'm sorry, for the Breakers, not for the Breakers, from New Orleans last year.
Yeah, you talking about for the Breakers?
No. Who was the quarterback for the New Orleans team last year?
Yeah, the New Orleans Breakers in the USFL.
Yeah.
The
guy that played for Toronto.
Oh, McLeod Bethel Thompson. He's back. He's back in the CFL.
Yeah, I heard he was going to the Elks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a boost for the Elks, honestly. Up next, the Houston Roughnecks. Paul Adams from the Breakers. Isaiah Battle from the Generals. I think that's a really nice pickup. Braden Bowman from the Generals. Woody Brandom from the Generals. Reuben Foster from the Maulers. He was awesome on the Maulers. Shamarius Gilmore from the Stars. Cyril Grayson from the Stars. Isaiah Henney from the Maulers. Also a nice pickup. Reggie Howard from the Breakers. Like that move. Ryan Izzo from the Stars, Toby Johnson from the Generals, Jack Kramer from the Breakers, Robert Myers from the Generals, Adam Rodriguez from the Stars, Olet Sagapolu from the Generals, like that move too, Keontae Shad from the Breakers, Gabriel Sewell Jr. from the Stars, Marcus Tatum from the Breakers, Ethan Westbrooks from the Generals, and Bryson Young from the Generals. They picked a lot. The Roughnecks got a lot.
But they don't know who their quarterback is. I mean, they got Hall as a wide receiver who, had a decent season last year, over 500 yards, 4 TDs. They got a good back in Thompson. They got Johnson. They got Odin. So 2 good defensive players. But who's the quarterback?
It's probably going to be Kenji Bahar with how he finished out last year for the Gamblers.
Do you trust him?
He's shown flashes of being pretty good.
Yeah.
So I would probably go after someone else too.
Yeah. Derek King.
Next up, the Memphis Showboats, who I believe Chase has now adopted as his team.
Okay.
They got Jonathan Adams from the Breakers. They got D. Anderson from the Breakers. Jordan Brayford from the Breakers. Kennedy Brooks from the Stars, like that move. Oh, excuse me. Connor Christian from the Breakers. Case Cookus from the Stars. Immediately. The Showboats might be my team just because I don't know, Erik knows this about me. I'm like the world's #1 Case Cookus fan. Mm-hmm. I love, he's my favorite quarterback, dude. I love Case Cookus so damn much. Immediately. Top 3, top 2 quarterback in the league. Immediately. Dude. Dog.
Dude. I just remember all those live streams. Cookies!
Name me a player who will put his body online as a quarterback more than Case Cookus.
Perez?
No. Cookus is more of a fucking dog than Perez. And I love Luis Perez. Damn right, Chase. Cookus is a shorty. They also got DJ General from the
my boy King.
The Generals. They got Vontae Diggs from the Breakers. They got Jerry Elder from the Breakers. They got Colin Hill from the Generals. Kirk Kelly from the Breakers. DeAndre Overton from the Maulers. Vinny Papale from the Breakers. Terry Bull from the Maulers. Tyshawn Render from the Generals. Shaheed Salmon from the Breakers. Wes Sexton Jr. from the Generals. Saint Sherratt from the Breakers. Darius Victor from the Generals. And Sidney Wells from the Breakers. I think Memphis is also potentially a really good team.
I mean, you look at it, obviously, QB1 with your boy Cook is solid. They got Dylan, who was arguably the best return man last year in the USFL. And then, you got Dylan Moss on the defensive end, and you got, Kennedy Brooks running the ball. I mean, pretty solid group. Who's going to be the wide receiver one? Dylan?
The scary thing is it might be like Sage Surratt. Like Chase said, he's a big get. It might be Sage Surratt. He's one of those tight ends that you could like theoretically see as a wide receiver one.
Okay.
Vinny Papale is that good like route runner. I'm just saying he's white.
Jesus.
Up next, Michigan Panthers. Adonis Alexander from the Breakers, Jacob Burton from the Stars, Davis Cheek from the Breakers, Matthew Colburn Jr. from the Stars. That's a good pickup. Corey Coleman also from the Stars. Another good pickup. Jared Fernandez from the Breakers, Keith Gibson Jr. from the Maulers, Devin Gray from the Stars, Wes Hills from the Breakers, Drew Himmelman from the Stars, Shalom Luani from the Generals, Brock Miller from the Generals, Jordan Ober from the Generals, Nasir Player from the Maulers, Ryan Pope from the Maulers, Jordan Sewell from the Stars. I also like that move a lot. Tristan Taylor from the Stars, Alex Thomas from the Breakers, and Bryce Torrendon from the Maulers.
Obviously, you got Sparks.
Also for Memphis, Jonathan Adams, wide receiver one.
Oh, good point. Obviously, you got Sparks, defensive end. You have Coleman. You have Corbin, and the safety Lunan. Dude, solid on the defensive end of the ball. I'm a little worried about the Panthers' offense, to be honest with you, though.
What do you feel about Danny Etling? Probably is your QB1, or your boy Erik. Did you see your boy in the roster sheet?
No, who's that? Connor Cook?
Brian Lewerke. Brian Lewerke, Michigan State legend.
I'll tell you what. With the trade rack that they were rolling out this year, I actually appreciated Brian Lewerke a little bit.
Do you appreciate Connor Cook?
Best quarterback ever to don the green and white. So yes,
you better.
Dude's a piece of shit human, but you know what? When it came to winning football games, that's what he did.
I think Michigan's defense is solid. I think it's set. I think they need. Yeah, I think they need to do something at offense. They have some dudes, and we saw last year they had some dudes at receiver. They just could never nail the quarterback position.
Yeah, maybe Lewerke gets some of that magic back.
Up next, the San Antonio Brahmas. Bryce Aline from the Roughnecks. Diuli from the Roughnecks. I can't pronounce a lot of these names. My bad. Tavante Beckett from the Roughnecks. Omari Cobb from the Roughnecks. Rashad Coward from the Roughnecks. Jalen Dalton from the Sea Dragons. Austin Edwards from the Roughnecks. They got a lot of that Roughnecks defense on this team. Cody Latimer from the Guardians. Alex Millette from the Roughnecks. Jordan Mosley from the Roughnecks. Marvin Pierre from the Roughnecks, Wyatt Ray from the Roughnecks, Jalen Samuels from the Roughnecks, Justin Smith from the Roughnecks, Tease Tabor from the Roughnecks, Kevin Tolliver from the Roughnecks, Teron Vincent Roughnecks, Cade Warner Roughnecks, Nate Weiland Roughnecks, Quincy Wilson Roughnecks. Cade Warner's a good get.
Yep.
They got a lot of Roughnecks players. They
got your boy starting at QB.
Which one are you talking about?
Jack Cohn.
I thought you were going to say it. So if I'm them and I see he's on the staff, he's on the roster, I'm not putting Cohn there. I'm putting Benkert in.
Nah, dude. I want Cohn in. I want Cohn just so you can bitch.
So, dude, I remember last year in like the 2 weeks he played, Kurt Benkert looked good for the Brahmas, and then he got horrifically injured.
Yeah.
I like Kurt Benkert. I think this roster's fine. Obviously, I'm not going to worry about the defense.
Oh yeah, I mean they got Vincent, who's
like Lemon said here. Wade keeping his boys, basically moving everyone from the Roughnecks over to the Brahmas.
Yeah, Wade's Wade, man. College coach.
And the Brahmas already had like a pretty good defensive staff, so like defensive rosters.
Ready to go. Obviously the worry is the quarterback position. You do have Cade Warner, the wide receiver, so you have that chain mover. I'm not really sure about the quarterback position. And as the guy mentioned in the comments, if you don't have that QB1 position, it's really hard to be successful in these leagues.
I I mean, we only saw a little bit of him, but I trust Benkert a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I trust him more than Jack fucking Cohn. I will bitch about Jack Cohen week in and week out. He is awful. Get him off my TV.
Jack fucking going.
Keep Wisconsin quarterbacks for the most part off of. Honestly, now with how bad Russ has been playing in the last 2 or 3 years, keep all Wisconsin quarterbacks off my TV. Just get him out of there.
He's done, dude. He's done, man.
I hated watching Graham Mertz at Florida this year. Get them all out.
Isn't he back one more year?
I think so. Up next, we have the St. Louis Battlehawks. They got Anthony Siofi from the Vipers. That's a good get. They got Quinterio Cole from the Sea Dragons, Sage Dockstader from the Roughnecks, Antoine Jackson from the Sea Dragons, Blake Jackson from the Sea Dragons, Keelan Kennedy from the Vipers, Chris Payton Jones from the Sea Dragons, Ja'Cour Pearson from the Sea Dragons. Huge get. Huge get. All anyone talked about for the Sea Dragons last year was Josh fucking Gordon. Guess what? Ja'Cour Pearson led that team in yards and touchdowns. He's a dude.
And yeah.
And also, Josh Gordon is like done with football, I think.
He retired?
I think he's just done. They got Jack Snyder from the Roughnecks, Justin Turntine from the Sea Dragons, Donovan West from the Vipers, and Mikhail Wright from the Sea Dragons. I think this is a pretty good draft. It's a pretty good get from the Battlehawks.
They got the XFL Defensive Player of the Year in Piddock too, right?
Yeah.
And then the issue with them, I'm sure you're going to say this, who's going to be throwing the ball?
Because they have a lot of the same roster. Like they still have
no AJ.
It's no McCarthy. They still have Akeem Butler, who didn't work out in the NFL, but I think in these kind of leagues, he's bigger than a lot of these players as a wide receiver.
You have two good wide receivers, but you need someone to throw him the ball.
You got Max Borghi, but what they're sitting at quarterback right now is, what did I say earlier? Who do they have? Oh my God. Do they not have anyone listed at quarterback right now? Look at this roster, Eric. Tell me what you see. See if you see it.
Manny Wilkes.
You see one?
Yeah, all the way down at the bottom. Manny Wilkins from Arizona State. And
they also have Nick Tiano.
Yeah, from Chattanooga.
Okay. They'll probably also be looking in the free agency.
You think?
You know what I hope? You know what I hope more than anything, Eric?
What's that?
I hope Danuch falls. I hope Danuch comes back. If there's one name I love yelling more than Cookus, it's Danuch, dude. It's Danuch.
Are you drinking out of Stanley Cup, dude?
This is like an off-brand.
Okay. I could see you being a Stanley man, dude.
I'm not. I'm very much not. Eric, they're doing it, as I mentioned earlier, so they're doing another dispersal draft for all the other players who weren't included. This is like a protected draft. So they're doing another one next Monday on the 15th for a bunch of the other players. And then it's free agency after that. After that, training camp starts February 24th. Basically a 1-month training camp to get everyone up to snuff. I assume they're going to go over the rules and everything beforehand. So they're starting with a 75-man roster for training camp, and they're shrinking it down to 50 for the season.
What are your thoughts on that?
A little disappointed they didn't make it bigger with how many players they're adding or keeping. I wonder, and I hope that they do something similar to what 2020 XFL did and had the team 9 of all the guys that like the other teams would practice against.
Okay.
And they could like grab players out of team 9 whenever they needed.
Okay. I like that idea.
It was sick. Also, shout out the Tick. I do charge $10 for mustache rides. That's a fact. It's just $10 to ride. It's cheap. But yeah, they had a whole team of practice squad players, basically. Like an entire 50-man roster for Team 9 that would play against the other teams. and then also the other teams can like pick those players out as needed with like due to injuries and things like that.
I like it. I like that a lot.
It's a really good move. I like that. I hope they do something like that. I don't know if they will. I obviously love the 75-man thing. 50. The positive spin of it for me is, I guess we should theoretically get a less diluted talent pool, and level of play should be like theoretically this should be the best level of play we've seen from spring football since the XFL in 2020.
Well, I mean, obviously, with the shrinkage of the teams, it only being 8, the talent level should be there. And if
like the level of play should be there,
and the level of play is good, people should watch.
I'm gonna watch.
Oh,
I also like the deal that they have, like getting ESPN and Fox on board.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's pretty big.
What'd you think of them doing promotions on Fox and ESPN this weekend for like? They did it for the NFL playoffs, and they did it for the college football national. They did it for the playoffs, right? They did it like during the Rose Bowl.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little flabbergasted. I'm not used to seeing them actually spend advertising money.
It was probably super cheap because Fox was running the NFL thing and ESPN was running the college. Like it's just like you always say, you're doing these things anyway. Why not try and promote this league that you guys are starting?
Yeah, and then you can make money off of the league. It's just a common sense thing, but is what it is. Like you have to advertise, you have to promote. They should be doing more. People should be on these little shows and all these little talk shows that they have on ESPN and Fox now. They should be pumping that out.
You're basically just saying we should go on McAfee.
Fuck no, dude. but also, ESPN Bet's a thing now. Maybe ESPN Bet will be doing a betting thing with them. That makes sense. So I really think there are some definite possibilities for them. It's up to ESPN and Fox to make sure they don't F it up.
And last but not least for date-wise, we don't have like a full schedule yet. I would suspect something. I hope by the end of the month we have rules and a schedule at the very and like full rosters at the very least.
I want rules for sure.
Rules, I think, come next week. I think next, I'm gonna make a bet for the future me.
Yeah.
Rules by next episode of Spring Fever, or I'm gonna drink a whole glass of water before stream.
A whole glass of water.
Eric, I gotta make these easy when it's like that, okay? I gotta make it easy. But March 30th is the start date, and I love at least the first game. It's Renegades versus Stallions. There's no lines up yet from what I can tell.
I kind of like how they're doing it like that, dude, too. I'm not going to lie.
Steven Schoen in the chat. I believe this league is still getting more push than any spring league ever has. Seen it here in California in my local channels, and we don't even have a team. This is the best chance a spring league has ever had. I like hearing that. That gives me a lot of hope. I love hearing that.
A lot.
I mean, it's getting push. I wish they had a little bit more of a web presence, but I think they're doing a pretty decent job.
I would love to see like a little more TikTok presence, a little more Instagram. You know what I mean?
A little more social media.
Yeah, a little more social media stuff going on.
Call me up, UFL. Call me up right now. Lemon Cuts also, they scheduled it after March Madness. Good move.
Yeah, that's a great move.
You're not going to find many freaks like me that'll be watching the XFL over March Madness.
That's for sure, dude.
I would do it 100%. I did it last year.
You're a rare guy, Jim.
Eric, any questions on the UFL?
Rules are. I need to know rules, but you said those are coming. I need to know. I want the schedule. How can I word this? Are the games going to be Saturday, Sunday still? Are they going to throw in some Thursday stuff? Is it going to be all weekends?
I would assume they're going to keep the weekend deal. That's my assumption.
And how is the hub stuff working? Is everything going to be based down in Texas?
The hub, so I can answer the hub question. The hub is going to be, it's basically going to be exactly like the XFL was last year. Everyone is in Arlington, and then they fly out to their markets.
So they're in Arlington practicing.
Yes, and then they fly out to the markets.
Now, I'm using the Panthers as an example. great ties to the city of Detroit with everything they're doing. Do you think that affects the attendance?
It might. That's a potential worry. I also wonder. I don't know 100%. I'm like 80% sure they're all staying in Arlington. I would. It might. Unless they do. So maybe if the team's not there, that's one thing. If they have like community outreach people in each market still doing stuff during the week, I think you might be okay.
Okay. Because I just
like,
know,
as long as you have like a big.
I felt like
as long,
them and the Stallions, they really connected with the communities and everything. They had a good presence. With them not being there, how is that going to affect their attendance? That's one thing.
I think as long as you have like UFL employees that are under those teams that live in those markets that are like trying to generate like events and do things for the team, because you might be able to like, there's no bye week, so you can't just like have the team out there. Like you can't like fly out a couple players in the middle of the week for no reason. But I wonder if you have like employees there doing like community outreach programs and doing events for the team, and then you make Saturdays or Sundays like these huge events, like these big day-long events for the Panthers or the Stallions. I wonder if that kind of helps with that regard. Because also, remember, the ticket price is going to be going up a little bit too.
Where are they going to?
I mean, I don't know for sure. They have like the season ticket stuff out right now. But like, it's not going to be kids get in free. I bet it's not going to be like the USFL's prices were, where it was like $10 and then kids get in free. Like everyone under 12 gets in free. Right now, I'm looking right now for the Michigan Panthers 2024 season ticket deposits are $50. So the deposit for the ticket is $50. I don't know how much season tickets are going to be.
That's not bad. I mean,
we don't know what the actual ticket price is going to be, though.
Okay.
But I think there's ways they can kind of like salvage it and keep the fan bases engaged. It's going to be a little more difficult for those markets.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was the one thing that kind of stood out to me is like, how is that going to affect it?
I think as long as you can keep game day like a big event and be there and be productive and proactive, I think you're okay. I think the most important day is obviously game day. And I think as long as you have someone in the community, like a couple people in the community, like keeping things active and keeping things like going throughout the week, you could be okay.
Now, you went to a game.
I went to a game, but I went to a game in the worst venue with one of the worst teams.
Do you feel that? How do you feel tailgate? How is tailgating at these? And do you feel this is something they could make better to improve the in-game experience?
Obviously, so the XFL tailgate I went to was the Vegas Vipers, and the answer there is 100% yes. They could do a lot to improve that. That was awful, but everything about the Vegas Vipers was pretty awful. From what I've heard from people, I've heard Houston was great. I've heard Arlington was great. The only USFL example I have personally was the championship game, which was fantastic, but that's the championship.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously I think picking good venues is a big part, having the parking lots there. And I feel like if you have enough fans and you kind of like involve yourself with the city enough, I think the tailgating culture just comes with it. Obviously, you can set up booths. You could be doing a bunch of stuff. Maybe have more like fun games at the booths, and don't just try and promote the rock stuff.
Because here's the thing: like the one thing that MLS did really well is all their arenas and everything were put close with bars. So they were able to get a lot of little cross market. Hey, go to the bar, come in. Oh, take your ticket stub, go to the bar, get a half price drink, free beer, half price app, whatever. Do you think they could do that where these teams, to improve attendance, do some sort of deals with local bars that are close
I
to
could
the
very
stadium?
easily see something like that with like local businesses or bars or something.
Because the MLS did that, and it just, as soon as they started doing that, it just kind of bloomed. They did a great job of going into the communities and really being one. But I hate to go back to my thing, but I really feel with everyone being based in Texas, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's difficult to start. It'd be difficult either way because they're either doing this or they're doing hubs.
Yeah.
So they'd either be doing this or you'd have two teams in like 4 markets still. So then you take San Antonio, put them in like in Arlington, so either way you're kind of biting a bullet.
Yeah.
And they did say like that within 5 years they want to like franchise these teams and sell them, which in that aspect they would be in the markets then.
I think it's a little too fast, dude.
I think so too. I mean, I think a lot of it, like I think the community aspect is extremely, extremely important. All in all, it does come back to the TV and the TV numbers.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they do on both those regards. I'm excited. I can't wait. I feel like every week we're going to get some sort of news dump about the UFL. It's only going to get more and more like bigger news items as the league approaches. Other leagues, other news, Eric, as we move away from the UFL. Starting April 27th, we have the Arena Football League coming back. The AFL's here. It's back. 16 teams, baby.
It's back. And I'll tell you what, you made a good point. I think this is the league, after thinking about it, that's going to benefit the most from players being dropped from the USFL.
I think this and the IFL, because so the Indoor Football League starts March 15th.
Mm-hmm.
But also, they have a way longer season than a lot of these other leagues. I think they play until like, I'll look at the IFL schedule, but I think the Arena Football League is only going to do like 10 weeks.
Jeez.
No, they'll probably do more. There's 16 teams. I bet they do more.
Okay.
I've been trying to find like a full schedule for them, but it's been very difficult. But I saw a 10-week schedule. If it's true that it's a 10-week schedule with 16 teams, that's kind of nuts. But I'm excited for the season. They're doing the divisional championship in Vegas, and they're doing the actual championship in Minneapolis.
Well, that's good. I like that.
So I think that's a cool move. So for the IFL Indoor Football League, it starts March 16th, I should say, and goes till the regular season ends July 20th.
July 20th. Okay.
So March to July.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's the IFL. The AFL, the Arena Football League, I'm not 100% sure. It's been kind of difficult to find information for me, at least. But I'm excited. It's going to be a very, very busy season for me because I'm trying to make a promise to myself. I wrote, Eric, in my little diary, my dream journal. I want to get more into like the arena leagues this year. I want to watch more IFL and AFL and like get into these leagues. I want to go to an arena game.
Jim, I'll tell you what, if one was close to me, I'd go with you, my friend. Guess
what, Eric? There's an arena football team in Council Bluffs, Iowa.
All right, let me.
It's not that close to you.
Where is it?
Council Bluffs, Iowa.
Council Bluffs, Iowa. Jim, you know what, dude? That's only a 7-hour and 13-minute car ride for me.
That's a long one.
Going through Davenport and Des Moines to get to old Council Bluffs.
Don't know if it's worth it for you.
Why is Council Bluffs famous, buddy? Let me ask you that.
It's basically just attached to Omaha, but there's some football player that went there.
It is known as the gateway of the American West.
It's also known as the fucking armpit of a city. I hate that town.
Oh, why do you hate? I didn't know you were such a Council Bluffs historian.
Oh, it's basically attached to Omaha.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. I knew it. Max Duggan was from Council Bluffs.
Max Duggan.
Yeah, Max Duggan was from Council Bluffs.
Okay. All right.
Because I remember people talking last year, like, why didn't Nebraska go for Max Duggan? He's right there.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Last but not least, piece of information, Eric. The X League capped off its season with the Rice Bowl. I just want to vent real quick. Unable to watch it live. I was unable to watch the Rice Bowl live because X League TV, they had to do a delayed broadcast. You can only view it live, I believe, if you live in Japan.
What?
I was disgusted. I could watch delayed, like the next day I could watch the whole game. I was pissed. I sat down, I had my meal, my dinner right in front of me at like midnight. I'm like, I'm going to watch the Rice Bowl, watch the Impulse versus the Frontiers, and no, I got denied. Maybe it's my fault, maybe I did something wrong, because the website's in Japanese, but as far as I could tell,
you didn't use a Google Translate?
I translated the website, but as far as I could tell, I was unable to watch it live. Which is, from what I can tell, is not going to be the case with the Dream Bowl. For those of you who don't know, the Dream Bowl is the Japanese All-Stars versus the Ivy League All-Stars.
Okay.
They play January, I think, 26th.
Okay.
Or 27th, or 20. They play January 21st. It's the 21st. It's the Ivy League All-Stars for the Japanese All-Stars. And the wrinkle for the Dream Bowl this year is the Japanese All-Star team gets to consist of American players who play in the X League. Before this year, it didn't get they weren't allowed to include any Americans.
So our boy J-Dub can play in this game.
Our boy J-Dub can play, and Chase's boy Boogie Roberts. Boogie Knight from ULM. He can play. Boogie Knight can play.
Interesting.
But back to the Rice Bowl. Fujitsu Frontiers, congratulations to the Frontiers. They win it 16-10. Defensive battle. I watched the game. I watched the highlights. This was a game throughout. It wasn't a blowout, which was very defensive football. It came down to Panasonic had their opportunities. They missed a couple key kicks. It turned into a field goal. They both kind of scored quick touchdowns right away. And then it just became a field goal battle.
Okay.
And just Panasonic just couldn't keep up with them. So shout out to the Fujitsu Frontiers for getting it again. Dare I say the most dominant team in sports?
Yeah.
I'm looking right here, Eric. 2023 champion. 2022 champion, 2021 runner-up, 2020 champion, 2019 champion, 2018 champion, 2017 champion, 2016 champion, 2015 champion, 2014 champion, 2013 champion, 2012 runner-up, 2011 runner-up, 2010 runner-up, 2009 champion, 2008 runner-up, 2007 champion. Since 2007, they haven't finished worse than second place.
It's like me when I used to play video games with Madden, dude, just running the table with the Lions year after year after year.
It's you on the basketball court.
Back in the day, my friend.
Dominant. This is an insane run.
Oh, it's absolutely insane to be that dominant year after year after year. But I mean, maybe this is a dumb question. I really don't know. What's the roster turnover like there? There's probably because once you sign to work for the team, you don't.
So it's. I feel like it's different for imported players. I feel like roster turnover in the X League is not nearly as crazy.
Yeah.
The only thing that's probably getting turned over, I would assume, are some import players.
That'd be a good question to DM our boy BJ about.
I might ask them.
Yeah.
You think we can get Trayshawn Nixon on? Have we tried?
Trayshawn Nixon.
Or Joe Mathis?
Maybe we could try. I mean,
they both play defense on the team. A lot of Pac-12 and Mountain West representation on this team. We're gonna try. Eric. Let's try. Do we want to get? Let's try and get some more interviews this year.
Okay, who do you want to try to get?
I don't know. Well, let's try. I feel like we could use a third person here every once in a while to kind of shake things up.
Samaji Grant.
That'd be a good move, Arizona man. Maybe we can talk to Austin Flynn. Bring Chase on. He's an Arkansas guy.
Well, maybe.
He's a former player. I don't know. That's something to spitball. It's something to spitball off camera. Erik, any other things you would like to talk about or discuss before we dip out of here? This has been a hell of a show.
No, excited for the season to finally get started with the UFL, and maybe I'll dabble in some arena league and stuff.
So you're lucky that you have DraftKings and FanDuel. You will get IFL lines. They post indoor football league sports lines, I believe, on FanDuel.
Okay.
So I need to figure out a way to get in on this because these offshore books that I use, not cutting it with the IFL or AFL.
They're not making the whistle wet.
No, they don't put any lines for indoor football league. Obviously, the IFL tried to do it a little bit more this year, but I need lines. I want lines. Maybe if I have to go to my local sports book and get a paper ticket for all my arena football action,
that'd be awesome.
I won't be upset. I will not be upset.
That'd be awesome, dude. I'd love to see you do that.
I would post it every time. Erik, I would do a live show from the casino.
I don't think they let you do that, but okay.
I don't give a shit. I'll do it from my phone. I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't. Awesome show. Thank you all for watching. Go to Royal Retros. Use our promo code. We love you. And we'll see you next time for another episode of Spring Fever.